Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Quick Learn Podcast. Today, we're diving into a topic that's so common, yet so misunderstood: stress.
Stress is something we all feel, but do we really know how it affects us? Physically? Mentally?
By the end of this episode, you'll not only understand stress, but also learn new English phrases, idioms, and vocabulary to talk about it confidently.
Stay with us because we'll also share tips on managing stress and a fun Quanda session at the end. Let's get started.
Hazel, let's start with the basics. What is stress?
Stress is how our body and mind respond to challenges or demands. It's like an alarm system. When something feels overwhelming, the body reacts automatically.
Interesting. So, is stress always bad for us?
Not at all. A little stress, called eustress, can be helpful. It pushes us to focus and perform better. For example, when you're preparing for an exam or a big presentation.
I felt that. It's like adrenaline kicks in and helps you stay alert. But what happens when stress becomes too much?
That's when it turns into distress. Too much stress can take a toll on your health. Your body stays in high alert mode for too long, and it starts affecting you physically and mentally.
What are some physical signs of stress?
Oh, there are plenty. You might feel your heart racing, your muscles tightening, or even have trouble sleeping. Some people experience headaches or stomach problems.
So, stress literally affects the body. And mentally?
Mentally, stress can make you feel anxious, overwhelmed, or irritable. You might find it hard to concentrate or even make simple decisions.
That explains why people say, "I can't think straight," when they're stressed.
Exactly. And if the stress continues for too long, it can lead to burnout. Burnout is when you feel completely drained, physically, mentally, and emotionally.
That sounds serious. But what causes burnout?
It's usually from prolonged stress, like working long hours without rest, juggling too many responsibilities, or not taking care of yourself.
So it's like constantly burning the candle at both ends.
That's a great idiom. It means working so hard that you don't leave any time to rest.
And let me guess, that's why people say stress makes them feel like they're at the end of their rope.
Absolutely. Being at the end of your rope means feeling like you just can't handle any more pressure.
I've also heard the phrase "under the pump." Does that mean the same thing?
Pressure. Yes, it does. Under the pump means you're under a lot of pressure, especially at work.
Wow, Hazel. Stress seems to affect every part of us: our body, mind, and even our productivity.
It does. That's why it's so important to learn how to manage stress before it gets out of hand.
What about chronic stress? I've read it can cause long-term health problems.
You're absolutely right. Chronic stress, stress that lasts for weeks, months, or even years, can lead to heart problems, high blood pressure, and a weakened immune system.
That's scary. It's like your body is fighting an invisible battle all the time.
That's a good way to put it. Chronic stress is like carrying a heavy backpack all day, every day. Eventually, it wears you down.
So, what can we do to prevent stress from taking over?
The first step is recognizing the signs of stress early. Then, you need to find ways to manage it, whether that's through exercise, meditation, talking to a friend, or even just taking a short break.
I like the idea of taking a break. It's like hitting the pause button to recharge.
Exactly. And don't forget to blow off steam. That's another great idiom. It means doing something fun or active to release built-up stress.
Like going for a run, dancing, or even laughing with friends.
Perfect examples. All these activities help your body release stress and calm your mind.
So to sum up, stress can be both good and bad. A little can motivate us, but too much can harm us if we're not careful.
That's right. And by learning to manage it, we can keep stress from taking over our lives.
This is so helpful, Hazel. I'm already feeling more aware of how stress works. Let's explain a few more idioms and phrases about stress.
Burning the midnight oil. This means working late into the night. Example, he's been burning the midnight oil to finish his project.
Under pressure. This means feeling stressed because of deadlines or expectations. Example, she performs well under pressure.
Blow off steam. This means to release stress by doing something fun or active. Example, I go for a run to blow off steam after work.
A weight off your shoulders. This means feeling relief after solving a stressful problem. Example, after the exam, it felt like a weight off my shoulders.
Let's review some important words related to stress. Tension. A feeling of tightness or strain. Example, the tension in the room was unbearable.
Overwhelmed. Feeling like there's too much to handle. Example, she felt overwhelmed by her workload.
Irritable, easily annoyed or angered. Example, he becomes irritable when he's stressed.
Relaxation. The opposite of stress. A state of being calm. Example, meditation helps with relaxation.
Resilience, the ability to recover from stress or difficulties. Example, her resilience helped her bounce back after a tough week.
Hazel, ready for some quick questions?
Let's do it.
Why does stress make people overeat?
Stress triggers the release of cortisol, a hormone that increases appetite. People often crave comfort food.
What's the difference between stress and anxiety?
Stress is a response to a specific situation, like an exam. Anxiety is more general and can happen even without a clear reason.
Can deep breathing really reduce stress?
Yes, deep breathing sends a signal to your brain to relax. It's a simple but powerful tool.
What's your personal tip for managing stress?
I love taking a walk in nature. It's like hitting the reset button.
Hazel, this was such an insightful discussion.
Thanks, Alex. Remember, stress is part of life, but it doesn't have to control us.
Absolutely. If you're feeling under the weather from stress, take a break and try some of the tips we shared.
And don't forget the vocabulary and idioms we discussed. Practice using them in your conversations.
Thanks for tuning in to Quick Learn Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this podcast.
Until next time, stay calm and keep learning.